Okay, so Charles Dickens. We all know the name, right? But what if I told you that behind that famous author was a radical reformer, and that his real-life story is actually way more dramatic than any of his novels? Yeah, let's get into it. Bah humbug! You know it, I know it, it's gotta be one of the most famous lines in all of literature. Instantly you picture Ebenezer Scrooge, right? The old miser. But here's the thing. That one character, he's just the doorway. He's the entry point into a much darker, much more complex world that Dickens was absolutely desperate for everyone to see.
Yeah, Scrooge is honestly just the tip of the iceberg. So in this explainer, we're going to go way beyond A Christmas Carol. We're going to uncover the real Dickens, the radical, the reformer, the guy who was forged in some seriously tough times.
I mean, think about it. His novels are just filled with these unforgettable characters, orphans, people in debt, forgotten souls, and they're all fighting for some kind of justice. So you have to ask, where did this obsession with injustice and redemption come from? Well, the answer, it turns out, is pretty simple. He was writing his own story.
So let's talk about his origin story. Because for Charles Dickens, life wasn't just, some vague inspiration for his art. No way. It was the raw, painful, nitty-gritty material he used to build his entire literary universe. And what's just staggering here is how fast it all fell apart. I mean, he's just a kid, 12 years old, and his entire world implodes. His dad gets thrown in debtor's prison, and young Charles is ripped from his childhood and forced to work in a boot-blocking factory. Can you even imagine the humiliation, the sheer terror? This wasn't just a bad chapter in his life. This was a trauma that branded him forever, and it became the fuel for his incredible creative fire. And this, right here, is the absolute key to understanding him. He took all that personal pain and channeled it directly into a public crusade. Every single memory of poverty, every moment of that struggle, he turned it all into literary ammunition. See, he didn't have to imagine what suffering felt like for his characters. He remembered it. So he basically transformed that personal mission into this incredibly powerful tool for social change. You could say Dickens held up a mirror to Victorian England, and he forced a very self-satisfied, very comfortable society to stare right into the grim reality it was so desperately trying to ignore. And man, his targets were relentless. Okay, you've got Oliver Twist. Bam, he exposes the horrors of the workhouses. Then Bleak House comes along and just attacks the completely broken legal system. With Hard Times, he's condemning the cold, soulless logic of industrialization. And then A Tale of Two Cities, he's digging into the very causes of revolution. You see, he wasn't just writing stories. He was waging a war on injustice, one book at a time. And the impact? It was absolutely undeniable. His novels became these huge national events. They forced their way into comfortable living rooms and made it literally impossible for the rich and powerful to keep ignoring the suffering right there on their doorsteps. He made the invisible visible. Simple as that. But here's the thing. Dickens wasn't just some grim reformer. That's really only half the story. He was also a masterful artist, a true creator of worlds, and he populated those worlds with some of the most unforgettable, iconic characters in the history of literature. I mean, where else do you start but with Ebenezer Scrooge, a name that is now literally a synonym for miser? He is the ultimate symbol of greed, for sure. But, and this is so crucial, he's also the ultimate proof of Dickens's powerful belief in redemption. And then you have the absolutely haunting Miss Havisham from Great Expectations. Talk about a powerful image, a woman literally frozen in time at the exact moment of her greatest heartbreak, just surrounded by the decaying ruins of her own wedding. It's chilling, an unforgettable symbol of a life just stopped dead in its tracks. And just to show you his incredible range, let's flip to the complete opposite, the eternal optimist, Mr. Macabre. I love this guy. No matter what disaster strikes, he is just forever convinced that something will turn up. He's kind of Dickens's tribute to our stubborn and, let's be honest, often hilarious human resilience. And oh my gosh, who could possibly forget the totally skin-crawling Uriah Heep? So humble on the outside, but so deeply manipulative underneath. It's these characters, from the tragic to the comic to the pure mustache-twirling villain that really showcase Dickens's genius. He just got the full, messy, complicated spectrum of human nature. And you know what's wild? These incredible characters reached everyone. I'm talking from Queen Victoria on the throne all the way down to the factory workers.
So what was his secret? Well, it was his brilliant use of something called serialized publication. Think about it. He released his novels in these cheap, weekly parts, and every single one ended on a cliffhanger. He basically invented the binge-worthy TV drama, and he got an entire nation completely hooked. So, when you put it all together, the passionate reformer, the brilliant artist, and the master entertainer, you really start to see why Dickens still matters so much today. His legacy isn't just about one of those things. It's about all of them, all wrapped up together. And this quote, I think, just gets to the absolute heart of his work. Literature is not an escape from the world, but a means to understand it more deeply. That was his ultimate gift. He wasn't offering his readers an escape from their lives. Nope. He was offering them clarity, a way to see the world and themselves more clearly. And that really is his most enduring lesson, isn't it? He forces us to look closer, to find the humanity in the people our society so often overlooks, and, maybe most importantly, to never, ever give up on the belief that even in the absolute darkest night, there's always the promise of a brighter dawn. So I want to leave you with just one final thought. Charles Dickens held up a mirror to his world and showed it its own reflection, flaws and all. The question is, if he were alive and writing today, what do you think he would show us in our reflection?